Hey there, Alex here. After realizing that my eyes have gotten a lot more sensitive to PWM dimming in the past year or two, I've discovered through experimenting with a handful of phones that aside from being sensitive to low frequency PWM dimming at low brightness, I'm also very sensitive to higher frequency PWM dimming at normal to higher brightness. This pretty much rolled out a ton of options for me, which is why I haven't been testing out that many new phones recently. It's hard to get excited about testing a new phone when it comes at the risk of hurting my eyes. While I have yet to try anything with even higher frequency PWM dimming, I'm not really holding out a ton of hope that it'll be much better, which brings us to the Redmi K80. This is actually a phone that I've been eyeing for a while now. The main reason is pretty simple. It has an LTPS screen with DC-like dimming for all brightness, and I know from experience that DC-like dimming doesn't cause me as much eye strain. But the reason I held off for so long is not just because I'm not the biggest fan of its design, but also because I was going to wait and see if the Poco F7 Pro would be better value for money. But well, that didn't pan out, and the new Redmi Turbo 4 Pro doesn't seem to have the same screen too, so I finally took the plunge. After using the phone for a while, I'm happy to report that I have no issues with eye strain on this phone. This display with all brightness DC-like dimming is probably the first OLED display I've used in a long time that doesn't give me any major issues across all brightness. I do feel a bit of strain at extremely low brightness after a while, but nothing serious. It's also using circular polarization technology, which according to them should help with eye strain as well. So yeah, I really hope that more manufacturers will start using screens that can do all brightness DC-like dimming for those like me. By the way, for some reason, the Poco F7 Pro and Ultra, which seems like the same phone as the Redmi K80, doesn't use all brightness DC-like dimming. It uses DC-like dimming only for higher brightness and high frequency PWM dimming for low brightness. Anyway, there isn't really much else that's too interesting about the phone. It's using a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor that we already know performs decently well, but nowhere near as good as the latest Snapdragon 8 Elite. My experience with it is pretty much the same as the K70 Pro I reviewed a long time ago, just that the bigger 6550 mAh battery now gives it much better battery life. That said, while battery life is pretty good, it's not quite as good as I was expecting for a battery this size. It's a mid-range phone that clearly isn't focused on camera performance, so camera quality is just okay. It's able to take some decent shots when the lighting is good, but just don't expect too much out of it. That said, it is actually slightly better than I was expecting. My experience with HyperOS 2.0 is more or less the same as HyperOS 1.0 on the K70 Pro too. This is the CN version, which I personally prefer because it offers a lot more granular options in terms of user permissions. I can block apps from reading the list of apps I've installed on my phone, and even other more trivial stuff. I know most people won't really care about this, but I do. There's a bit more of a hassle when it comes to setting up the phone, but they do make it pretty easy on the whole. I can uninstall all the apps I don't want easily, and I can install Google Play Store right from their own App Store. Of course, do keep in mind that some things might not work as well, like Google Location History, Android Auto, or Android Wear, and like most other CN phones, there is a chance that work profiles might not play nice. I don't really use those features, so this doesn't bother me, but if you do, just take note. Like with other CN phones, your mileage may vary depending on the apps and services you need on your phone. The only way is to try it for yourself. So yeah, that's really about it. I know the asking price of the phone is on the higher side if you look at its 2499 Chinese yuan RRP compared to other phones in the same category. Not to mention as well that some of the newer phones that just came out are priced so competitively. It's one of the reasons I didn't take the plunge immediately after all. But while I can't say that it's great value for money, I don't think it's horrible at least, considering that it does seem to be packing some pretty well-rounded hardware if you don't need the latest chipset. Metal and glass built, IP68 rating, an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, a 6550 mAh battery in a phone that weighs just over 206 grams on paper, and most importantly, a 1440p screen that not only looks good, but also doesn't cause as much eye strain compared to other phones I've tried. Just that last point alone makes it still worth considering for me.